Baywatch is a fantasy.
Baywatch was sexy.
Baywatch was the #1 show in the world.
It was hot.
When you hear that theme song,
I had no idea how much fun I was going to have.
It was addicting. People were just hungry. They were eating that stuff alive.
Baywatch was one of the most popular shows in the 90s, one of the first to capitalize on the hook of sex sells. After Baywatch, A Moment in the Sun is a news docuseries on Hulu that looks back at the cultural phenomenon and some of the big stars who came out of it.
Director Matthew Felker joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Great, thank you. So when I think about Baywatch, and I remember watching Baywatch and thinking, man, everybody's so beautiful, and the bodies are so perfect. Talk to me about, what do you think is the lasting impression of Baywatch now that it's been off the air for so long?
I think it got kind of a bad stigma. It's like any really good brand, when it kind of runs its course, people try to put it in a box. What do I equate it to? I kind of equate it to the Kardashians. It's a pretty good direct parallel. Everyone knows of the Kardashians. Everyone has probably seen an episode of the Kardashians. But people go out of their way to say, oh, I've never watched an episode. They go out of their way to say they never have watched an episode. So it has a little bit of a backlash, and it's a little bit of a stigma we're working against. Mm-hmm. But I think if people watch the series, they'll be pleasantly surprised with what is inside. Other than the looks and the sexiness of it all, was there another reason people were watching? Because there were elements of sex all over TV, I feel, by then. I feel there was an amazing import of the California dream. I mean, I came from the Midwest. I have family from Chicago. I grew up in Wisconsin. I live in Malibu now. I feel the imagery of Baywatch. You may not have watched Baywatch. You may not have paid attention to the storylines. You may not even have cared. But the imagery that show had it's a parallel to social media. It sells a sort of fantasy world. And at the time, California in the 90s was really heavily popular in TV and film. So I think just that look and that lifestyle of whatever we thought it was, it's not true, but it was that fantasy that everyone really wanted to get into. And I think that's why it translated so well overseas. I think it's why it translated really well in the Midwest, because the weather's not great all the time. And people like to look through a window of beach and sun, and it's sunny and, nicer almost every day.
Alexandra Paul, who I believe played, I think, Stephanie on the show, she's been very consistent in her message, saying that this show had a lot more meat to it than what you said earlier, a lot more substance to it, and particularly when you saw female lifeguards. Did a lot of the cast members see that side of it?
I think every cast member had their own sort of relationship with the show, and I think every cast member kind of knew what their part was. Alexandra was very... she was like an EMT. She was an athlete, so she knew what her role was. Greg Allen Williams, who was fascinating. He was the man who played the sergeant or the cop on the show. He had his role, and I think they all really understood what their roles were. But there was more than sex. But the storylines are soft, and it's because we judge content by today's standards. Where that era, it was just. All TV was not this high intellectualized, storylines. It was just, let's just watch, it's mindless. But we have the internet now for that sort of mindless entertainment where you kind of tune in, tune out, watch, but the audience wants shows like, Ozark or Breaking Bad and these very, very high concept, very highly written shows. And I think we kind of have an unfair sort of barometer to Baywatch and shows like it. I mean, Sure, no, I hear what you're saying, but the plot of one of those episodes was an octopus held a surfboard hostage or something of that. Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. There was some terrible storylines. I'm not apologizing for it. Even in one of our Recall Kelly Slater, that was his episode, and he was like, this is terrible. So it sounds hilarious, though. I feel. Yeah, people kind of like that sort of kitschy, not real sort of writing. And, the audience changes and the demand changes and it becomes like an outdated thing. But I really thought this brand, we started this 5 years ago, and I thought this at the time, we're in such sort of a dark era where everything's doom and gloom and political and this and that. I wanted people to actually have a little bit of fun. Yeah. All the documentaries are these really dark documentaries about this happened to me and that happened to me. And there's a lot of, personal stuff in this series, but I want people to leave feeling good.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much stuff where you've like all this, like even the Nickelodeon one, you know, great documentary, but you leave it feeling like, eh.
Yeah.
You know, that's my childhood.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have a more of an uplifting feel because I think we have enough of that doom and gloom right now.
We've seen a lot of clips, and the clips that are playing right now of Pam Anderson, who of course shot to stardom with Baywatch. What are her? You know, it's interesting because her public persona has changed so much since Baywatch aired. Were you able to talk with her? Did she want to talk about her time on Baywatch?
A lot of the actors have a real push-pull with the brand. I feel like a lot of people do that. The thing that kind of made them famous, they want to get pushed away from. And, you know, you have to kind of acknowledge that that show is one of the major reasons that she is a household name. But at the same time, she also wants to go off and try to do other things and reinvent herself. And, you know, she's trying to be a serious actress right now and, you know, really tell her story. So I think she feels kind of kicking the brand that, you know, made her or put her in the position that she's in. I think she feels that that's the most beneficial way to her. I always think these things are so old now, you may as well just lean into it and embrace it because that's what people love.
Well, After Baywatch, Moment in the Sun is streaming on Hulu, and you can follow along on social media. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.